Right. So, if you've just bounced here off of the first video, welcome. If you haven't seen that first video yet, links in the description. That's the one where there's all the facts are all laid out. The message is delivered direct. But long story short, Fusion 360, the personal license is being changed significantly. The landscape has completely changed for the free version of Fusion 360. So that video, yeah, that's direct to the point, all the facts. This video is waffle. Just waffle. I just need to get stuff out. It's raw, it's unhinged. There's no script, no agenda, no bullet points, nothing. I haven't even bothered to put the background up. I can't be bothered. I just need to get it out there and get it done. But if you come watching videos hoping to see someone get irate and angry to validate the way you feel, it's not going to happen here. I don't like saying that I support either or, but I kind of do think Autodesk made the right decision here. In fact, I don't trust people who say that
I will always favor the consumer and the community over the company.
Because the customer's not always right. Sometimes customers they will say stuff and hold an opinion with pure selfish intent, often asking and requesting things that can't be done. And if I was to just support that and champion that kind of mentality, I just can't. I can't, because I know companies sometimes have to make decisions which are in the best interests of the product to keep the product going. And this is one of them. And you can't just look at a company's revenue on Wikipedia and go, oh, they make 8 billion a year. Obviously, they can afford to give this product away for free. They can just siphon money out of the other, that 8 billion. And it doesn't work like that. Every department within a company like Autodesk have their own targets and budgets. And if a particular team isn't meeting targets and budgets, they're not selling enough product, if it's not meeting targets, they'll get axed. They'll get canned. They can't just siphon revenue from other teams to keep them afloat. It doesn't work like that. So if their intent was to make Fusion 360 a commercial viable product, then this is something that they felt like they have to do to keep it going. So if the consumer base, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what the general vibe of the consumer base, like the customer base, is going to be. If that is, this is unacceptable, it has to be free, you need to give it away for free to everyone, I couldn't support that. I kind of hope most people understand this. And if you're watching this and you're really angry, if you're really upset because this decision has impacted your ability to make money, if their decision today has affected your livelihood, then I'm afraid you don't have a leg to stand on. You can't argue here, because you should never have been using the free personal license for commercial purposes in the first place. And you're the reason why this decision was made, pretty much. I'm guessing anyway. That was what I thought when I first saw the announcement come through. If they're differentiating the free and the commercial versions like this, it's pretty obvious that they're trying to stop people abusing the free license for commercial purposes. And you could say, well, why don't they go and chase down all the people who are abusing it instead of ruining it for all the people who are using it for free, genuinely? Then, well, they can't do that. How are they going to do that? How are they going to find all the people in random shops in the middle of nowhere who are using Fusion 360 free version to make money on? No way they can find these people. The tried and tested way that's always been done, not just by Autodesk, but by every other company ever, is to just limit what the free version can do. Fortunately, that's what they've had to do to curb the abuse. So, yeah, I mean, they're also wanting to differentiate the two products. There's confusion over what the difference is, and I get that, because when I was researching this prior to being briefed by Autodesk, I was looking at the licenses going, what is the difference between personal and commercial? I'm looking at the two of them going, I don't even know. Like, what are you getting? If you pay for it, what do you get? I don't know. Where's the incentive to pay? What have you got to... Is there a criteria? Is the annual revenue thing still in force? So you get it for free. Sucks if you make some money. Now you've got to start paying for it. I mean, is that where we're at? We're still at that? I don't know. It was so confusing. So to differentiate the products, to make it clearer, to the normal consumer, that sounds like it's nonsense. We don't care. I mean, I understand it. I'm using it for free. I understood it perfectly, so I don't care about the decision. But for anyone new coming in, it does help to understand what the difference is between the offerings. And I think they've made a couple of errors along the way. There's a video on the blog page, and I brought this up with them. I was very, very clear about this one. I think this was a bit of an error. For quite an it's not really an insulting error. It just seemed like a bit of a kick in the nuts, to be honest. But in the video on the main website, or the main blog page, which was supposed to be there as like a justification as to why they're doing this, where Kaching and Kevin Schneider are saying, look, we're changing this, we're hoping it's for the best, and this is being sent out to the guys who are going to be irate and angry and kind of really upset and confused and kind of... and then Kevin says, look...
When we started Fusion 360, it was not our intention to make FreeCAD or HobbyCAD.
I was like, oh, you didn't just say that, did you? You didn't just say that. I just thought, you are fanning the flames there, mate. You're fanning that. I get it. I get why you said that. You kind of, you're hoping to get the message across of, look, when we started Fusion 360, our intention all along was to commercialize it and to make money off of it, because we kind of have to look at how much money we're spending on it. We have to make money on it to keep investing in it. But to say our intention was never to make HobbyCAD is justification as to why you're limiting the free license. I just thought, mate, you did have a license called the Hobbyist license. Remember? You didn't intend to make HobbyCAD, but you had a Hobbyist license. It was actually named that. We never intended to make FreeCAD. Free is the whole pull to Fusion 360. That was its whole draw. You can't... If you take off your ego hat, you can't believe for a second Fusion 360 would have been as popular as it is if it didn't have a free offering. The whole draw to it was that it was free, it was accessible. Anyone could get into it, and it was there. So to say we never intended to make FreeCAD, there is some truth to that. It was never supposed to be free for everyone, but free was a big draw to it. You go to any forum, any thread, any Reddit post, any Autodesk forum post, it's like, what do I do? I want to get into CAD. What do I use? Try Fusion 360. ... It's free. It's like it's its thing, you know. I just thought to say that in the video where you're kind of trying to defend this decision, I just thought that was like, cringe. But apart from that, I still think they've had to do this, and I understand why they've done this. You know, if you're a commercial user and you are genuinely making money off of Fusion 360, then you should be paying for it. I'm kind of venturing into very dodgy territory here, but it's very difficult, in fact impossible, to generalize across everybody. But if you're using Fusion 360 as a manufacturing aid and you're doing it even part-time, or let's just say full-time, and your argument is you can't afford it, therefore that's why you were using the free version. If you're saying that you can't afford $400 and something a year for your main manufacturing tool, be very careful here. Maybe the issues lie elsewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe Fusion 360 is not the problem. Maybe there's other areas of your business you potentially need to look at if you can't afford $400 a year on your main design tool. I'm not talking about like a lavish hotel room that you want to go to every year, or, you know, a nicer car, or, you know, a novelty. This is your main design tool. I don't know. I just hear this all the time from people who claim that the design tools are too expensive, and then you look at what industry they're in, and you know what their rates are, you know, and you think, I know what you're charging. Okay, if you can't afford it, then maybe the issue's elsewhere. It's awkward. It's insensitive to talk about this, and you can't. I know you shouldn't go there because everyone's circumstances are different. And everyone has issues, but that's what I'm saying. I think those issues are what they should be looking at, not the actual cost of the software. Because I think the cost of the software is reasonable. I do. Sorry. I think 400 and something for Fusion 360 for what you get, perfectly reasonable. I'll not go into the other Autodesk offerings. It's a discussion for a different video, but yeah, if you should be paying for it, you should be paying for it. If you're a personal user though, and this genuinely affects your ability to do personal projects, then I don't want to sway. I don't want to influence your opinions. I don't want to kind of dictate what you should be thinking. But don't get angry if this is affecting how you do your personal projects. Don't get angry at Autodesk. That's all I would say. Get angry at the people who were abusing it, Just direct your anger through the right channels. What this means for Inventor, I did ask the question. Bear in mind, a year ago, I think it was just over a year ago, I interviewed Derek Cooper and Steve Hooper to talk about the seemingly perceived convergence between Fusion 360 and Inventor, mostly due to the marketing materials not doing a very good job of differentiating them. This recent development has not done that any favors. In fact, I don't recall a lot of the interview, to be honest. I haven't watched it since I actually edited it. But the main take I remember from that interview was that, look, Inventor is the high-end engineering / manufacturing offering from Autodesk. That's the flagship tool. Fusion 360, though, hobbyists. We didn't intend to make hobby. It's a hobbyist. It's like a stepping stone into big league. But if you're a small hobbyist, that's kind of where we're pitching it at, kind of thing. This recent announcement where they're kind of neutering the personal version clearly paves a path for them to bolster the commercial version significantly, which means it's going to get more investment, it's going to get more tools, it's going to close the gap between itself and Inventor, no doubt. Whether it's still got differentiators in CAM and generative design and whatnot, sure. But the beefier it gets, the more investment goes into it, it will close its gap between itself and Inventor. And that, I'm fine with that. I'm not super protective of Inventor to the point where I don't want to see Fusion 360 grow. I want to make sure that there's a clear differentiator in the fly for bopping around my face. I need to make sure there's a clear differentiator in the marketing material. You don't want to see the Fusion 360 marketing sales page saying it's the best 3D CAD tool for manufacturing. This is what you want, 3D CAD, but better. And then Inventor going, this is the best 3D CAD tool for engineering and design and product design. And Fusion 360 is product design, but better. Like, which one do you go for? You're a new user coming up, new startup. Which one do you go for? The marketing pages just give you nothing to go off. So as long as there's a clear differentiator, fine. Fill your boots with Fusion 360. What I do know is that the news is going to be met with clearly a lot of negativity and cynicism. Cynicism? This is it. This is the end of it. It's not. They're not pulling the free version. I don't think they ever will. But there will be a lot of people who will think that. I get that. If you're entitled to think that, if you want to think that. But there'll be people who will say it starts with this, and then next it'll be, next they'll pull X, next they'll pull Y, and eventually it'll just be a shell. Sure, you can say that. You can't be certain. I don't think they will do that, but I think there's no reason for them to kill this. There's no reason for them to kill the free version, because they should know that the free version was the main draw to it. And another side to it, which I've just remembered, is another bunch of people that are going to be quite upset are the people that helped develop it and helped in the early days, got involved with the feedback, the bug reports, getting involved with feature enhancements, and they were all involved at the start. I think those guys may feel a little stubbed by this decision, but I think the way Autodesk are going to look at this is like omelets and eggs. Andrew himself said it. If you're not paying for their software, which if you're a free personal user, you're not paying for it. If you're not paying Autodesk, you're not a customer. So they can't make decisions on their software or for their business which are beneficial to people that aren't paying the money. You can understand. And after 7 years of Fusion 360, if someone isn't paying them, the good chance they're not going to ever pay them, Yeah, it's going to sting for a lot of people. The conspiracy theories and the people who years ago said that they saw this coming are going to, they'll pipe up and gloat and brag and shout from the hilltops and stuff. Which, okay. I'm going to run to Onshape, and now Onshape suddenly seems like a better proposition. Run to Rhino CAD suddenly seems like a better proposition. Look, go for it. It's not, honestly, just go for it. Just if you genuinely feel now that Rhino or Onshape is a better solution for doing what you need to do, mate, go for it. Just don't do it in a way that you think it's going to hurt Autodesk, because it won't. If you weren't paying Autodesk any money, you running off to Rhino or Onshape, it's not going to bother them at all. you were a free user, you were taking up space on their servers. They were happy to have you, you know. Even if you helped develop the software along the years, I'm sure they were very thankful for that. But that was kind of the agreement that you made with them. You know, you were willfully helping them develop the product. It was kind of an agreement there. But now you're still not paying them, and you're going to threaten to go off to OneShape and Rhino. Just do it. You know, just do it. Just don't make a song and dance of it because you weren't paying them. They're not going to care. But I tell you what, though, this is absolutely a good case now for my idea that I had about virtual workstations with the software delivered inside a virtual workstation for an hourly fee. I'll link that video as well in the description. I'll put it up in a card. Autodesk, come on. You know, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Basically, the idea was you don't pay Autodesk anything, but you can launch an app, click on a product, Fusion 360, Inventor, AutoCAD, Max, whatever, anything. And for, I don't know, $1 an hour, Autodesk will deliver a workstation through your browser with the software already installed. You can play on it. It'll be impotent. You can't export, you can't print, you can't do anything with it, but you can play on the software. And that was the first iteration of my idea. If the idea took off, I could come up with all kinds of reasons of commercializing that further. Okay, I've played around with it for, 2 weeks. I've created something. I didn't realize I wanted to export this, but I've now got a buyer for something that I was playing with. How do I get this off? Autodesk could charge you a fee. Look at how much time you've spent working on that and then export it off, something like that. I don't know. You know, there's all kinds of ideas, but that suddenly now becomes an even more attractive proposition. Anyway, I think I've waffled on for long enough now on this one. If you don't agree with anything that I've said in this, well, okay. The only people I really feel sympathy for are the personal users who are genuinely stuffed by this, if they had more than 10 documents. And if that's the case, if that's you, get in touch with Autodesk. They will try and sort something out. I don't know what that is. I did ask them that. I said to them, if someone is a genuine personal user and they're really stuffed by this, Autodesk were like, yeah, well, they'll get in touch with us. We'll help them out. We can work with them. I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? Like, if you're working with them, like, I don't know. But if you get in touch with them, they'll try and do something. They don't want to stuff everyone left, right, and center. They're not hoping that every personal user turns into a commercial user. I genuinely don't believe that's what they're trying to do here. But yeah, if you are looking to go commercial, I've got some links in the description for 50% off in some areas, 40% off in some other areas if you want to buy a commercial license. Probably not if I've offended you this video, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to knock that on the head here, mate. Cheers. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.